up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're literally in the middle of nowhere out in Moab, Utah for a very important reason. It's this right next to me. This is it. This is the all-new, totally redesigned 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Our particular one is the top trim known as Summit Reserve. But before we get into the 5th generation of this SUV icon, let's talk about what's going on here. Jeep. They've been doing the business for decades as a brand, but you know what? The Grand Cherokee has been around since 1992, if you could believe that. At the time, at the New York Auto Show, CEO Bob Lutz drove a Jeep Grand Cherokee right through the front doors of the Javits Center and made a Grand Cherokee entrance at the New York Auto Show. Since then, the industry has changed, but you know what? When it comes to SUVs, Jeep really still builds on that philosophy of not only having something that has nice style, definitely wait until you see the technology, but also that off-road capability. This being the Summit Reserve trim is that top luxurious trim. I want to find out though, if you're comparing this to another luxury off-road capable SUV, guess what? There's not a lot out there, but there is one from Lexus. It's the GX 460. So in this review, we're gonna get down to the nitty-gritty of driving on-road and off-road, and I wanna find out, should you be buying the new Grand Cherokee, especially the Summit Reserve trim, over the Lexus GX 460? Let's go ahead. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's find out what's different, but also which way you should go. Right off the bat, the style. It's fresh, it's new. The Summit Reserve trim actually has a totally different front fascia. They're all getting the same great headlight design and technology from the Grand Wagoneer. So you're getting full LED headlights, daytime running lamps, and turn signals. I love the silver on our particular Grand Cherokee. Lower corners, little bit of gloss black, but we do have functional full LED fog lamps. And then as we come across that iconic grille, many people philosophize that this is all about the 7 continents. Jeep was the first brand to be on all 7 continents. That's why we have the 7-slotted grille. I love all the fine brushed aluminum style touches on the Summit Reserve trim, including a forward-facing camera and washer. And then of course, to bring in tons of air for that radiator, we have lots of opening with the gloss black, and we have the Quadra lift system, which means we could do this. We could raise and lower our Jeep Grand Cherokee all through a closed loop air ride suspension. Another thing that's going to separate it from tons of SUVs, you have a disc connecting sway bar that you could do so that you could really take it off-road. But let's continue. Hood, nice, strong, bold lines, and then you'll see that they really widen the track. And what I mean by that is that they actually push the wheels and tires far out to the sides to give it more stability, but also give it such a great look. But since we're talking about wheels and tires, let's see what we got going on with this Summit Reserve trim. But bam, check it out. 21-inch wheel, love the shape, love the design, nice satin black, machined aluminum finish. And the great news is you got a meaty tire to make sure that you're not going to pop a tire as you're going off-road. But this is gonna be a 275 in the width, 45 series sidewall, that Quadra lift suspension, and we got the adaptive dampers all 4 corners. Obviously, this is rear-wheel drive base. You could get it 4x4 or you could get 2-wheel drive, but it is rear-wheel drive base. And on this particular trim, we do have an electronic limited slip diff. Nice style with the silver, everything painted. And I think starting at the front, comparing this to the Lexus, it definitely has a cleaner but bolder look. The Lexus obviously has that large open spindle grille design. It's one of those love it or hate it things. This though, it shows the connection to the past and where we're definitely going. Gloss black on the mirror caps. Love all the attention to detail. That's something for sure that Jeep has worked on with this 5th generation, is all the great detail. 360-degree cameras. You got your turn signals, 2-tone motif going on. Love that style, especially with the silver. We got our roof rails. You can get your crossbars. Grand Cherokee name, bold, prominent, with the American flag there, showing that connection to their history, to their past. Right now we have this in the lower suspension setting, but you could raise it up And you know what? With the right options, you could go up to over 11 inches of ground clearance, if you could believe that. Now, working our way towards the rear, you have some machined style aluminum finish on the tops of the door handles. I like the shiny metalwork on the lower sill. And this part right here is some of the biggest news, because guess what? This portion is called the belt line. As it flows along the bottom of the glass, they actually lowered it, which makes it have more glass, and they thinned out the D pillar. A, B, C, D, really nicely done, especially into that rear. And look at the waterfall. Super great design, clean. Coming around the back, what do we got? We have LED lights taken from the Grand Wagoneer. Love the way it's all cleared out. And I like the way they have the turn signals built in instead of putting the turn signals down below. We got a short, stubby roof spoiler, but because there's more glass, it actually hides the rear wiper a lot better. That name right there pops right out. Jeep, all that history. Summit right on the passenger side. Great tasteful badging. We got 4x4, which comes standard on the Reserve. And then the lower portion, you got this cover. That's going to cover all of that towing capability. Wait until you hear about the numbers. And we got dual exhaust, one exhaust on each side with some nice brushed aluminum. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our new Jeep Grand Cherokee. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Now, unlike the GX 460, you actually have 3 engine choices, but the great news is I think we have the best one, my favorite one. That's it, naturally aspirated V8 power. So we got a 5.7 liter V8 engine, really tasteful engine cover. I just wish it had a little bit more silver or some kind of finish on top of that engine cover, but underneath the cover is what really matters. 357 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a Torque Flight 8-speed automatic transmission. If you're gonna tow with your Grand Cherokee, when you go V8 4x4, you're looking at 7,200 pounds. MPGs, 14 in the city, 22 on the highway. Another feature that you're not gonna get on your Lexus GX 460 is, you see this guy right here? That is night vision. And we brought that to you on the Grand Cherokee L. It's technology like that that none of the other brands are really bringing in an off-road capable, fully off-road capable SUV. But let's go ahead, let's fire it up and hear what kind of sound it makes. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee. This one being that Summit Reserve, and it's the 2-row Cherokee, the one many of you have been asking for. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is this thing? I've been looking at other SUVs, especially those that are a little bit more rugged, and you're right, I can't find many. I was thinking about maybe a Ford Expedition Timberland, but I don't know. But how much is this one? Because I'm liking it so far. MSRP for the Summit Reserve with the 4x4 and everything else, you're looking at $66,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Love the nice, clean, modern style. The wood finish actually is growing on me. I'm not really a big like brown style, natural style wood fan, but it's working on that door panel. 2 memory seat settings and massage seats for both people up front. I like the way they brought the silver trim. A little bit of gloss black around that switchgear. I don't know why they went that direction, so I am going to have to zonk that. But I do love all the stitch work. And that door pocket down there, not only does it have stitch work, but you could easily put 3 burritos, full-size Moab burritos. And if you're wondering what's the difference between a Moab burrito and a regular burrito, that's where they use buffalo. So buffalo and bison in that burrito, and a nice bottle of Surge to wash it down. We got the 19-speaker Macintosh sound system with some of the sexiest speaker grill covers I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Going from the door panel to the dash, technology out the wazoo. Check it out. Your passenger has their own 10-point 2.5 infotainment system screen. They got Fire TV. Look how nice it is to swipe. And the great news is it's not going to distract the driver. They got their own navigation they could go into. They can even pull up cameras and be that nice helper of a navigator to help you get through that off-road situation. Stitching looks great. The wood finish, the way they put stitching everywhere really shows the attention to detail. And then the great news is if your passenger doesn't want it on, they can simply just shut it off just by hitting that button right there. Nice integrated infotainment system, 10.1 inch, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto that are wireless, navigation, check it out. You could go into your vehicle settings, go into all the different surround cameras right here. Nice clear resolution. Look at that. You can see the cars driving by off in the distance. I can almost read their license plate number. That's how good it looks. Out front, out the back, with the trajectory, makes life so easy. And then you get right back to home, and then we can hit navigation and look where we're at again. Go into your comfort controls, every setting that you could think of, dual climate, heated seats, ventilated seats. And then the good news is, if you have a phobia about touching screens, we got full buttons. So you actually have your knobs for radio controls, you have your ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, and dual climate control. More gloss black, but the good news is we can make it disappear by opening because you got wireless charging, tons of connectivity, and a 12 volt. So you're not going to be hurting for any of that. We do have the beautiful twist knob transmission to go into your different gears. Really, really nice style, the attention to detail. You could raise and lower with the quadra-lift system, and you got your different modes. 4-wheel drive low, hill descent control, and of course, 2 cup holders with the paper that Lori's been looking for. Lori, we found the paper. I'm going to put it right here so we won't get lost. Nice soft material. Open it up. You got a place here for maybe some trinkets, some coins. They put some wires in here. I put Buffalo nickels. We're out here in Buffalo country. Put Buffalo nickels in there. Pull it up. Easily put a full-size Yeti can in there. And it won't get scratched because it's felt lining. Seats, nice Tupelo leather with the piping, the Summit name, ventilated, heated, and those beautiful stitch work. All electric assist, massage, and we have a full panoramic sunroof and more Alcantara that I've seen in this vehicle than compared to some sports cars and supercars. But why don't you get over here super fast? I want to show you behind the wheel of this new Grand Cherokee. Business time on the driver's side. Check out the size of the can that you could actually put in that door pocket, nice and deep, plus the stitch work, the attention to detail. You have your seat controls, easy to get to with all the fine finishes. And then I have plenty of room in here. If you don't have enough room in here, you're really, really tall. That's all I could say. Steering wheel though, I'm loving it. Nice soft leather, the Jeep logo. See how the stitch work just makes the horn button come alive? It's like I want to hold on to the steering wheel. Not only because I'll die off one of these cliffs by not holding on to the wheel and just letting go, but also because it feels nice and it looks great. You do have your paddles behind the wheel to go up and down the 8-speed, automatic. We have our little button right here where you could telescoping and tilting steering wheel. And then you have your dash, another 10 inches of visual pleasure, and you could actually scroll through a whole cornucopia of information. Really, really easy to operate, and you could set up everything personalized. Plus there's a head-up display and a digital rearview mirror. But let's get into the back seat because I'm dying to go on throttle in this Grand Cherokee. Backseat time in this Grand Cherokee Summit Reserve. You're going to get the same wonderful leather. 2 10-inch monitors mounted to the backs of the front seats. And what's nice is you can actually position them very easily. Full touchscreen capability. And if you want to see more about this, check out the review at the end of this one where I go more into depth. I love the way they add the extra set of AC vents. Nice large pocket for a pizza. Just slide it right in there. And then you're going to have your command center, dual climate control. I am in love because we have ventilated seats in the back row. All the connectivity, including a home power source. So nobody's going to lose charge of anything. I got plenty of room over here. They increased the interior passenger room by 6 cubic feet. You even have the manual shades to pull up, keep the sun off you. Nice, soft on the armrest, 2 cup holders. The only zonk, like I mentioned before, is gonna be that you don't have a sliding seat, but check it out. You got matching Tupelo seat belts. That's an additional 5 horsepower in my book. But why don't we go ahead, let's see how many horses we could fit in the cargo area of this Jeep Grand Cherokee. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Hit the button, nice electric assist. Now, of course, people that are gonna go off-roading and whatnot, they're gonna go camping, they're gonna need to have a lot of camping supplies. This is really where they maximize space. You're looking at 37.7 cubic feet of space, but the great news is 2 full-size coolers, 2 golf bags, and 2 carry-on luggage pieces will fit in here when you put those rear seats down. You got a nice little notch here. That's where you're gonna put that souvenir fossil that you find. Out here in Moab, lots of fossils if you dig, if you look around, put that in there. You can see the beautiful carpet, nice low loading floor. We got that Macintosh subwoofer from that 19 speaker system. And we have another little nice nook. I would put an emergency bag of chips in there, because if you're out here in the middle of nowhere and you get hungry and there's no food, I'm not gonna wanna be around you. But you know what? It's that magical moment. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in our Jeep Grand Cherokee. All right, guys, here we are. We're in this 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee, driving in Moab, and we have the Summit Reserve with V8 power. First of all, being behind the wheel, it has that familiar Grand Cherokee just experience that people love from this iconic brand. And when you see the layout of everything in here, you could really get a feel for where we went from the 4th generation to this 5th generation. Now, feedback to the steering wheel, very, very nice. I have the digital gauge cluster configured exactly the way that I want it. You're the captain of this ship, and you get to pick 20 different ways from Sunday, all those different displays that you could have. I like having all of the readouts of coolant information, oil pressure. Those are all important as a driver. What I'm gonna do is I just wanna slow down a little bit. We're gonna go on throttle. Nobody's behind us. We got V8 power, over 350 horsepower. On throttle, here we go. Nice rumble from the vehicle. It's not a bunch of artificial stuff. You got that nice low down grunt of the torque delivery, and it's very, very smooth power delivery. The torque flight, 8-speed. Listen, it's made by ZF. They've been doing the business for transmissions for a very, very long time, and you really get a good, smooth shifting process. Now, with that whole Quadra-Lift air suspension system, it gives you that off-road capability where you can raise the vehicle when you need it. But going down this beautiful road in Moab, Utah, it just gives you a comfortable feather light ride, and I really think that that's super smart. The new technology with the Uconnect 5, we got the digital rearview mirror, easy to see, Alcantara everywhere. This Tupelo color interior with the leather is soft, comfortable. You have massage seats for both the driver and the passenger. You got that 10-inch display for the passenger to watch whatever they want. And the great news is it's at a good angle that you're not going to be able to see it from the driver. That's an important safety aspect right there. But I'm so glad that they kept the V8, and then excited for the future with the first ever upcoming Grand Cherokee 4xE. But really just the attention to detail with the thickness of the glass, the sound deadening material. Let's do another on throttle. I can't get enough of those Hemi V8s, and this one is a ton of fun. Great head-up display. You ready? 1, 2, 3. On throttle. Here we go. Look at that. Sends the power to those rear wheels. Of course, we have that 4x4 capability. And that's another great thing, is having that system to where the front wheels disconnect on the highway to really try to help with overall efficiency. And then when you need the all-wheel drive, it comes into play. And as you saw, when I went on throttle, it was all grip and no slip. Getting to the ventilated seats, the heated seats. Now there is, like we pointed out on the Grand Cherokee L, there is a ton of gloss black in the center console area, but I think most people are gonna have these doors open. You're gonna be having your wireless charging for your phone. You're gonna be having your, your tasty Yoo-hoo while you eat your Twinkie with some Tupelo honey on it, driving through Moab, and that's gonna take away some of the gloss black effect. I'm gonna go ahead now and put it into sports. So those beautiful toggle switches, you toggle down, now it shows a checkered flag. You could actually feel the transmission and the engine is behaving in a little bit different way, and we're gonna kind of get on it a little bit here. Nothing too crazy. This isn't a track hawk, but I think that's probably the biggest question. Will they come out with a supercharged version of this 5th generation of the Jeep Grand Cherokee? That's the big question mark. But with this naturally aspirated V8, brakes feel good. You got the adaptive dampers, all 4 corners. And that's what happens when you go into that sport mode. It's gonna change the feeling, the personality, and it's a distinctive change. Not just a, hey, the ride gets a little bit more stiff. There's a lot of different parameters that are changed. Let me do another on throttle now that we're officially in sport mode. So here we go, on throttle. Really love the power delivery. Great job, and I think that if I was gonna go Grand Cherokee, I would need to go with the V8, at least right now, until we drive that 4xe. But the great news is, you also have the availability of the naturally aspirated V6 as well. The leather, the materials, if you haven't been in the Grand Cherokee L, I highly recommend getting in that vehicle or this one or a Grand Wagoneer, because the materials from the previous generations are unbelievable. Where we've come from to where we're at. You got the Macintosh sound system, over 900 watts of thumping sound power. And then you got such a great environment to wrap yourself in, nice, like a nice warm heated blanket. And that's important here when it gets dark in Moab this time of the year. This is pretty cool. Here at Moab, we go right directly from asphalt to off-road jungle, and that is one of the many reasons why we are here in Moab. Is this is Jeep country. This is where you're gonna get that true off-road experience and really be able to showcase what these Jeep Grand Cherokees are all about, because no other SUV has this type of off-road capability, especially with things like the front sway bar disconnect. All right, guys, here we go. We are in 4 low, sway bar disconnected, and we are going up this incline in Moab. What I did is on the instrumentation, I was able to pull up the off-road gauges. It shows you exactly the movement of what's going on with your Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk, and this is definitely the start of an amazing trail, but this is just the baby stuff. When Jeep throws a media event, they want to throw everything at this vehicle, so stay tuned because we're doing some crazy stuff out here. All right, what I did was I put the forward-facing camera on with that trajectory path there, and we are going up the side of this mountain, man. But really amazing, all of the great suspension travel. We're in the highest suspension setting, which is gonna give us over 11 inches of ground clearance. And of course, when you go Trailhawk, you are going to get the skid plates that are gonna protect all the inner bits on the underside of your Jeep Grand Cherokee. But this thing, I'm telling you, the feedback to the steering wheel is phenomenal. Nice throttle control with the pedal. And that was one of the things that I really noticed that was awesome, was on the road. It felt really planted, really secure, nice solid steering, and even off-road, same story. The vehicle is not bouncing all over over the place. All right, here we go. Nice tight fit on the side of this cliff. Forward-facing camera, looking good. Slow and steady wins the race, that's for sure. Slow and steady wins the race, but this thing is amazing. The technology helping to be your spotter, helping to be your guide as we go through this off-road course. And this is a private off-road course that they have secured for us here in Moab. Look at the view. Things are going really, really well. And you can even clean that camera if you need to. So that's the great news, like we pointed out before as well. And the Grand Cherokee is staying very stable. I mean, yeah, obviously we're rocking back and forth, but it isn't this bouncy sensation all over the place. All right, guys, here we go. Up, up, up and away. On throttle. I don't know about that, but definitely getting some 4x4 on throttle grip, especially in 4 low here. I mean, this is really, really phenomenal. The amount of grip and stick that this thing has. Hold down the window a little bit, get some air in here. Got our spotter up top. Directing us where to go. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So right now I'm using this awesome technology, which is basically that crawl control, but where you could adjust the speed using the paddles on the back of the steering wheel. Obviously, minus would be slow, and then you hit the plus to speed up. The lowest you could go is 0.6 of a mile per hour. The greatest is going to be 5 miles an hour. And this allows you to just take your feet off the brake, off the throttle, and you're just gonna let the Grand Cherokee do its thing. That is the type of technology that we're talking about here that really separates Jeep products from the rest of the pack. All right, guys, so we're getting back down the mountain here. Hopefully this is giving you a total whole perspective on what the Jeep Grand Cherokee brings, both driving the Summit Reserve trim and also, of course, this Trailhawk trim. But we're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. Guys, it's been a wonderful day out here in Moab. Definitely want to thank the whole Jeep team. So awesome, such Raiti's Rides fans, and of course, they truly believe in the vehicles that they're building. Let me know what you think. Is this Jeep Grand Cherokee, especially the Summit Reserve trim, is it the one that you would get over a Lexus GX 460? Or would you go the Lexus route or maybe another brand? Put it in the comment section. I'm dying to know what you think. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera out here in the sun, in the desert heat. But she's making the magic happen. Show Laura some love in that comment section. Thank you, Laura, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.